So I have to admit, I thought I needed an expensive camera along with an expensive lens to film cinematic video. But today in this video, I'll be taking this compact camera that you're seeing right now along with me throughout the day to see if it actually does the job, and you guys can be the judges of that. And as always, gonna start my day with some coffee. So what you're seeing right now is the Canon PowerShot V1. This is a compact camera that Canon designed specifically for content creators by making it small, compact, and easy to use. It was released in early 2025, and I feel like Canon didn't do too much of marketing on it. So I found out about this camera from other content creators boasting how good this camera is, and I knew I needed to get my hands on it. As you can probably tell, what makes this camera compact is not only its small body size, but also its built-in lens. And that means you don't have to carry a big lens with you whenever you're out shooting. And because of its size, you can pretty much carry this camera in your pocket and take it with you wherever you go. And that gives you more flexibility and opportunities to just take out your camera and just start filming. I truly think this is one of the most underrated cameras in the market right now because it shoots 4K in C-Log and it's pocket size. I want to confess, I do own a full frame camera along with two expensive lenses to go with it. This is the Sony ZV-1, and I've used this to film like 99% of my YouTube videos. And although it's a better camera with better video quality and better features, I've started to move away from it and use this camera instead. So whenever I took this camera out to film, I had to carry a bag to store it in. I also had to be more aware of my surroundings because I didn't want anyone else to steal my gear. But also I stood out like a sore thumb in public with this camera. But because the Canon PowerShot V1 is compact, sleek, and has pretty decent video quality, it makes it easier to capture the moment throughout the day, just as if I'm using my phone. So because of all these reasons, it just makes sense for me to choose this PowerShot V1 over my full frame camera. It's kind of crazy that it's almost 2026. This year definitely flew by pretty quickly. Around this time is when I begin to reflect the good, the bad, and everything in between that happened this year. I would usually go down the rabbit hole of the things that didn't go quite as planned. So for example, my car got totaled this past summer and I spent a bunch of time and energy on that car. And I thought I'd be moved out by now and found my own place to call home. And also figure out what I want my career to be like moving forward. I can go on and on about the things that didn't go quite as planned this year, but on the brighter side, it helps me appreciate all the good things that happened. Because this year was pretty unique for me. I had the opportunity to travel to China, Japan, and Hawaii for the first time. And as someone who doesn't travel too much, it was pretty eye-opening and it helped me appreciate all the different cultures and lifestyles out there. And also gave me more perspective of what life is like outside of the bubble that I live in. And also this past year, I spent a bunch of time outdoors at places like Yosemite and Tahoe, and I genuinely enjoyed that time. It's definitely easier to focus on the negatives and forget about the highlights that happened this past year. But being reminded of the highlights of this year is encouraging and gives me hope, confidence, and assurance that next year will be just as good or even better. But yeah, I just can't get over the fact that 2025 just flew by just like that. It's kind of crazy. I remember people would say that each year would get faster and faster as you get older, and I'm definitely feeling that. So one underrated feature about this camera that sealed the deal for me was the zoom lens. It's not only the fact that the lens is built in, making it a little bit more compact, but that it's also a wide angle zoom lens. It's equivalent to a 16 to 50 millimeter on a full frame camera, which is perfect for handheld vlogging, which I like to do, but it can also zoom in at 50 millimeters to capture those macro shots. And honestly, it was a struggle to find a lens like this in the full frame market. Some of the lenses in the full frame market that start at 16 millimeters usually go up to only 35 millimeters. I have a full frame lens that starts at 16 and goes to 28 millimeters, which doesn't have too much range, and I wish it would go up to 50 like this one. But overall, I do like the flexibility of a zoom lens like this because it gives you that range so you can capture different types of shots. For my style, I like to make cinematic vlogs, and so having a wide angle zoom lens like this works perfectly. But I can also zoom in at 50 millimeters on this camera and capture more of the close-up shots. But like anything, it's really up to you, your use case, and what you want to convey. For me personally, the lens on the PowerShot V1 hits the sweet spot between a wide angle and zoom lens. But to wrap things up, I'm pretty happy I switched from my full frame camera to this PowerShot V1, even though my full frame camera has more capabilities and better video quality than this one. I know in this video I didn't go into the specifics of this camera, but I'll probably save that for a different video. At the end of the day, the more I shoot videos, the more I realize that I want something quick and easy to use. And the Canon PowerShot V1 really captures that. And our phones are just a testament to that because we have it with us usually all the time, and we just pull it out whenever we want to shoot photos or videos. And having that convenience is pretty big and something to really consider whenever you're choosing gear. But as always, gear is just a tool, and it's really up to you on how you use it and your use case to whatever you're trying to build. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.